Namo bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good evening everyone. Today I am going to explaining here a very specific stanza with its story which quote from the book of Dhamma. First of all, if I give little information regarding this book is belong to Buddhist literature as well as it is one of Pali canonical textbook. When we consider about the content of this book is full of stanzas or verses. Specifically, there are 423 stanzas. All the stanzas of this book has been categorized into 26 chapters according to subject of each stanza. Lord Buddha is the one who taught all the stanzas of this book, who lived in India 200 and 600 years ago. When we go through or study this book, we can clearly understand any of the stanzas of this book didn't emerge from Lord Buddha's mouth spontaneously or without reason. Therefore, every stanza has behind reason or story. That's why I mentioned earlier, today I am going to explain here one of those stanza and its story. Now let's pay attention towards our main object of today, what explaining the stanza and story. First of all, I would like to share the story, then I'll explain the stanza. There was a lady at the Buddha's time who named as Visakha Mahopasika. She was main lay lady devotee of Lord Buddha because she had so many great spiritual qualities. That's why she was given this spiritual post by Lord Buddha. And as well as she made a very big temple to Lord Buddha and his disciples named as Vispurva Ramya by spending millions of money. When we consider about her personal life, she had very big crowd of children and grandchildren. In this particular time period, she lost her very beloved granddaughter. She was very small, very cute, lovable, but spontaneously she died. Visakha Upasika couldn't bear this unfortunate loss of her granddaughter. So she was enormously hit the grief and pain. She spent her whole day by weeping and crying. She always wanted to be alone, and she couldn't able to eat and associate with people who lived her family. So after spending for few days like this uncomfortable way, she wanted to have little bit relief from this mental grief and pain. So therefore she decided to go to meet Lord Buddha and to have some kind of Dhamma instructions to have a little bit relief from these mental circumstances. So then she went to meet Lord Buddha with wet hair and by wearing wet clothes. It should be a custom at that time in India, when like this funeral incident happened to a family, the family members of it should go to outside with wet hair and by wearing wet clothes. Visakha Upasika also followed that same ritual or same rule, and then she went to meet Lord Buddha with wet hair and by wearing wet clothes. Visakha Upasika never been to meet Lord Buddha like this way. Therefore, Lord Buddha questioned why Visakha Upasika came here like this way. So then Visakha Upasika replied and shared that unfortunate loss of her granddaughter's death. So Lord Buddha, and again Lord Buddha was asked by Visakha Upasika to give me Bhante some kind of Dhamma instruction to have a little bit mental relief from this enormous or unbearable mental grief and pain. So then Lord Buddha started to question her, how many people live in this city? What do you think, Visakha Upasika? Visakha Upasika was little bit curious regarding the question, because question was completely different from the situation. But she replied respectfully, there are Bhante 70 million people live in this city. How about all the children of this city are becoming as your grandchildren? Is it a great experience for you? Would you like to have like that big crowd of grandchildren around you? Yes, Bhante. I love very much. I very much love to have all the children of this city are becoming as my grandchildren. It is a very great experience for me. I love to have like that big crowd of grandchildren around me. So how about how many children die per day in this city? There are a big crowd of children. There may have at least few children die per day. At least one child should die per day, because there are big crowd of children. So it means all the children of this city are becoming as your grandchildren. At least one child die per day. It means you have to spend your rest of your life by weeping and crying with the enormous unbearable mental grief and pain. And if you are going to outside, you will have to go outside with wet hair and by wearing wet clothes. Is it a great experience for you? Never, Bhante. This one also I couldn't bear. That's why I came here to have some Dhamma instruction from you. So I don't like to have like that experience for me. Never. Visakha Upasika replied. Then Lord Buddha has given this stanza or verse that I mentioned earlier to how does this mental grief and pain arise to or springs to individual. What is the behind reason of it? This stanza is very profound, very deep. We have to understand here today. Now this is the translation of it. All the grief and pain springs to or arises to individual because of lovable feeling that he has towards the things or ones, including his self. All the fears arises to individual because of lovable feeling or mental attachment that he has towards things or ones, or including his self. If individual has no any lovable feeling towards anything or anyone, including himself, or mental attachment towards anything or anyone, including himself, it means there are no any mental grief and pain or fear to come that particular person anymore. That's the translation of this stanza. Again, Lord Buddha has given a very specific mathematical explanation of also here. This is the that mathematical explanation. If you have 100 things with that mental feeling, what is the to a lovable feeling, or with that if you have mentally attached to 100 things, if you want to keep them rest of your life with you, so like this feeling you have towards 100 things, it means there are 100 pain and grief to come you in future because of that 100 lovable feelings that you have towards 100 things. If you have 90 things, it means there are, with that particular mental feeling, it means there are 90 mental grief and pain to come. If you have 50 things, it means there are 50 mental grief and pain to come. If you have only 10 things, it means there are 10 mental grief and pain to come through you. If you have only one thing with that particular mental feeling, what is that lovable feeling of, if you have stick to or attached to, mentally attached to only one thing, it means there are only one grief and pain to come through you. If you have no any attachment, or if you have no stick to anything or anyone, including yourself, it means there are no any and if you have no any lovable feeling towards anything, it means there are no any mental grief and pain to come you in future. This is the mathematical explanation has been given by Lord Buddha to Visakha Upasika. And first of all, we have to understand it doesn't mean we should remove or give up all the things we have, things and people who are around us. So here is we cannot live without things and people around us. We need their help, because it is very difficult to live without things and people around us. We need to associate with them. So, but we have to understand the reality of the things, reality of the ones, including ourselves. That's the teaching we have to understand, we have to consider about under this stanza. Normally we are taking things with the permanent mental feeling. If we are buying something, if we are associate with people, sometimes it will be action, sometimes all the things we are accepting with the permanent mental feeling, mental perception. But when they are going to destroy or lose that the enormously mental grief and pain to hit us because of that attachment or that unrealistic mental perception, because we cannot find anything from this world. It doesn't matter it is a living thing or non-living thing, all the things are impermanent. That we can call as these things are permanent, we cannot find anything like these things, because all the things are impermanent. So if we have stick to something or someone, or mentally attached to something, to something, it means as well as if we have very big lovable feeling, very heavy lovable feeling towards things, it means when they are going to change, when they are going to destroy, when they are going to lose, our mind is getting so much mental grief and pain. Sometimes it is unbearably hit to us, to our mind. Sometimes we are getting so many anger and aggressive because of this loss. So because we have no really that the ultimate reality of that the realization of that these the ultimate reality of those things. If we have that the some kind of realization regarding these things, that the ultimate reality of the of all those things, it means it doesn't, that the mental grief and pain doesn't hit to us enormously, because we know the reality of the things. For example, think we are going to cleaning our room. When we are cleaning our room, we are normally cleaning our room with the permanent mental perception, whether it doesn't matter whether we are talking about talking or not to others, but we have mentally that perception, because we want to keep that cleanliness for every day, for all the time. So sometimes for a week, like this perception we have, but spontaneously it is going to dirty or mess. Our mind is getting so much angry and so many desperate feeling regarding this dirtiness, because we wanted to keep that cleanliness for every day, for all the time. When they are going to dirty, or if someone mess with it, so our mind is getting so much angry and aggressiveness. Like this feeling we have experiences. So because why this mental stressful or uncomfortable or unlikable mental feeling came through us, came through our mind, because of that we stick to, enormously attached to that activity, that the cleanliness we attach to that mentally, because we hadn't little bit the reality of the realization of the reality of these things. That's why we was hit that uncomfortable mental feelings. If we have good realization or understand regarding this, what's going on actually regarding this, behind this fact, when they are going to mess or dirty, or this regarding we are is still in this example, it means when they are going to dirty or mess, we are not hitting hitting this mental grief and pain, because we know the reality of these things. So we have to, if we can if we can clean this room, clean our room with this perception, this is not a permanent things, this is going to dirty. That's why we have to do this activity again and again for every day, because that's the nature of this cleanliness, is it is going to dirty. That's the nature. So if we have a good realization of this nature of the situation, so when it is going to dirty or mess, we are not much hitting that mental grief and pain. We are not getting anger and aggressiveness towards our family members because of this mess, because we know the reality of the things. So that's the teaching we have to deeply understand here. If we can live with this intention for every moment of our life, if we can use everything, if we can if it means everything, it's sometimes blame, sometimes insults, sometimes prestige, like this, everything, it doesn't matter, living things or non-living things, including you ourselves, we can apply this impermanent perception. When it is going to change or destroy or anything to happen, our mind is not getting so much angry and aggressive, it not hit so much mental grief and pain. We are getting able to some kind of mental ability to live a reliefful life. That's the things we have to understand under this stanza. Okay, now I'm going to stop this talk for today. as well as I would like to again remember you the translation of this stanza that I mentioned earlier. This is the all the mental grief and pain springs to individual or because of this lovable feeling or mental attachment, mental strictness that we have towards things or ones, including ourselves. All the fears arises to us because of lovable feeling or mental attachment that we have. If we have no any lovable feeling towards anything, or if we have no any mental attachment towards anything, including ourselves, it means there are no any mental grief and pain to come through us in future. Not only future, at the present moment also we are getting able to live a really full life. So it is very hard to practice this, to involve with this impermanent perception. But if we can live with this idea, if we can practice this idea gradually within our day-to-day works, it will gain to you so much really full mental ability to not to stick to others, not to stick to things or ones, including ourselves. That's it for today. I'm going to stop. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. I wish you, may you all be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm, difficulty, problem come through you. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.